Alison Bechdel, who created the feminist Bechdel Test, originally claimed that it was a joke. The whole thing was a joke. It was not supposed to be taken seriously. She also shared that she's dismayed that modern films, are taking shortcuts with, quote, strong female characters. Let's get into this here. If you're not familiar with Alison Bechdel, she coined the feminist Bechdel Test in her 1985 comic strip, The Rule, and recently claimed the test was a joke and was not meant to be taken seriously. You can see here in The Rule, a woman explains to a friend that she will only go see a movie if it satisfies 3 rules. 1, it has to have at least 2 women in it who, 2, talk to each other about, 3, something besides a man. So that is basically the Bechdel test. In addition, and it was in this comic strip that she created. But in an interview back in July with The Guardian, she admitted the test is a joke. She was asked, "How do you feel about it these days? How do you feel about the test these days?" She said, "It was a joke. I didn't ever intend for it to be the real gauge it has become, and it's hard to keep talking about it over and over, but it's kind of cool." So she said it was a joke. She wasn't supposed to be taken seriously. Imagine that, right? And now it's just absolutely eroded the film industry. What's hilarious, though, is that Bechdel was then asked if she found it dismaying that movies continue to fail the test. Her answer was actually kind of surprising. She said, "What's really dismaying now is the way so many movies cynically try to take shortcuts and feature strong female characters, but they just have a veneer of strength and they're still not fully developed characters." So they're trying to work their way around this quote-unquote Bechdel test that was a joke to begin with and shouldn't have been taken seriously. And now you're just kind of creating these caricatures of these strong female characters that are just absolute garbage. No one wants to watch, and they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars, like Natalie Portman as Mighty Thor, which anyone who had read those female Thor comics could have told you was an absolutely terrible idea in the comics, and it would be a terrible idea in the films, and indeed it was. It looks like the film has basically ruined Taika Waititi's film career. He seems to be just kind of treading water. Doesn't really look like he's doing anything all that important anymore. His Star Wars movie seems to be on the rocks, if not completely canceled, and it doesn't look like they're going to be moving forward with him with any more future Thor films or doing anything with him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe moving forward. So yeah, but I just find it hilarious that this woman who created this Bechdel test is decrying the fake strong female caricature that Hollywood has created in the wake of them taking this Bechdel test seriously. What is interesting, though, is that her criticism does echo a number of top female actors. Emily Blunt being one of them. She shared with The Telegraph back in November 2022. "It's the worst thing ever when you open a script and read the word strong female lead. That makes me roll my eyes. I'm already out. I'm bored. Those roles are written as incredibly stoic. You spend the whole time acting tough and saying tough things." She-Hulk attorney-at-law actress Tatiana Maslany described the concept of a strong female lead as reductive in an interview with The Guardian back in August 2022. This one's a little bit ironic as well, given the fact that She-Hulk is a walking caricature of the strong female lead trope. But Maslany said it's just as much shaving off of all the nuances and just as much of a trope. It's a box that nobody fits into. Even the phrase is frustrating. It's as if we're supposed to be grateful that we get to be that. Emma Thompson also told Culture Blast back in December 2022, "So all the women screenwriters I talk to, I say, well, what's the story? Because it's not good enough simply to give the women the guns and then make the women badass as well. Now women have to be badass if they're feminine in the way that they used to be, and they're not badass, then they're not welcome. Also, they're not allowed to cry, apparently, anymore because we've just got to be like the men." Thompson continues saying, "And I remember thinking, well, that's not what we meant. When I got a group of women together in my 30s and I said, okay, what's the female heroine? Who is that? What does she do? Because she hasn't got the wherewithal to do the Superman, to do the Godfather. That's not the point. That's not where our heroism lies. So how do we make it heroic?" So you've had people actually criticize this kind of talk before, and now you actually have the woman who wrote it in the comics, popularized it. The phrase is named after her, is saying that it was a joke and it shouldn't have been taken seriously. And she doesn't like the way that it's being turned into these strong female leads. I mean, you literally just can't make any of this stuff up. It's just wild that we see these people over and over again admitting that the things that they were pushing back in the day have turned into absolute failures.
Subscribe for more.